What is up, everybody? Hope all is well. 20 years. Can you believe it? That's how long it's been since OG Halo launched. I had just finished my master's degree and moved to Connecticut. It was also shortly after 9/11. Amidst all the chaos of that year was Halo, acting as a sort of totem of the times for me. In the early days, I was a fan. The Bungie trilogy was some of the best art and entertainment the industry had put out at the time. But in 2007, Bungie left to make Destiny, and 343 took over. How'd that go? Well, Halo 4 and 5 were troubled, to put it lightly, and I was no longer a fan, rather a curious onlooker. Since then, I've been waiting and hoping they'd eventually capture the magic. Did they do so with Infinite? To a degree, yeah. I'm really conflicted here though. On one hand, Halo Infinite sends a compelling message about love, loss, and redemption. On the other hand, at times it can be tropey and executed so poorly it struggles to be more than the sum of its parts. Its missions aren't very memorable, but all of it rides on the coattails of some truly fantastic gameplay. So bottom line, I think it's a good game, and the best 343 is made to date. Though not without its problems, they got enough right to say this is a Halo worth playing, something I haven't said for nearly 10 years. It's a tale of three games to me. The first act is classic linear Halo, the second act is totally new, it's open world with more improvisational gameplay, and the third flips back almost entirely to being linear but feels nothing at all like the first act. I think 343 wanted to make the entire game open world, but in the end simply ran out of time. So they wrapped the open world with the best linear sections and said ship it. That's not to say it's bad, I just felt a major disconnect between them as I played through. So let's get into the story. I bookmarked this video, so if you're worried about spoilers, just jump to the next section. The story's a mixed bag for me. Thematically, I like what they're trying to say, though technically, at times, it's poorly executed. It kicks off in a flurry. You're floating in space in the aftermath of a losing battle for Zeta Halo, soon rescued by our first new character, the pilot, and in the same scene, we meet our second new character, Master Chief's new AI. The story rests on its mysteries. How did the ring get destroyed? What happened to Cortana? Why didn't Master Chief's new AI get deleted? And what is this secret Zeta Halo holds? Master Chief struggles to cope with the loss of Cortana and the blame he's placed on himself for it. He also struggles to trust or even accept his new AI. The pilot's overwhelmed by the danger around him and devastated he may never see his family again. And the new AI struggles to understand her purpose and relationship with Master Chief, having escaped deletion. As the story unfolds, we get our answers, well, mostly, and plot twists that accentuate the emotional highs and lows of each character's arc. The trio's climactic jet scene where they share names, I felt put a nice bow on things, especially the way they sort of left you hanging with the new AI name, though I think it's obvious what she chose. And then there's Cortana. I thought the whole is she good or bad thing was way transparent, but it helped set up the real reward of her arc, that being her just another Echo scene.
They'll pair you with another AI. Maybe even another Cortana model if Halsey lets them. It won't be me. But you know that, right? But that doesn't matter. It's just another Echo. She's right, John. Just another Echo. Sorry, I'm messing with you. I just had a feeling that's what she would say. Do you see what I see? So much potential. I'm sorry. I didn't have long to plan this. A few milliseconds, really. I hope it worked out. Look at us. We just keep saying goodbye, don't we? But this isn't an end.
For me, this saved the Halo Infinite story. The way Cortana emphasizes the word feeling in the beginning, I felt as if 343 was able to compress 20 years of emotion from the Halo series into a single scene. It was really good. The voice acting in particular helps it transcend beyond just a plot point. It's a thought-evoking scene that makes you ponder things beyond the game. Though I'm still scratching my head at why they used an exact copy of Cortana for Master Chief's new AI. Maybe I'm missing a reason somewhere in the story, but there's literally a writing trope named after just that. The suspiciously similar substitute. Google that and make of it what you will. Much of everything else in the story felt either generic or tropey. The bad guys are predictable and forgettable. Angry masculine brute, check. Angry feminine spirit being, check. The story didn't make me care for them, their plight, or their involvement in any way. The missions taking you through the story are also mostly forgettable. It's typically go here and do this 3 times. Even writing this now, I can't think of a single specific mission that I really love. The repetition gets old fast, especially in the 3rd act where despite being beautifully designed, everything looks identical. And one more thing, maybe I'm reading into things too much, but I was getting a strong tabula rasa vibe here. The phrase dust and echoes carries throughout. The themes of love, loss, and redemption, of learning from your mistakes and doing better. The way Cortana seems to be saying goodbye from the game's glory days, wishing us well in the next 20 years. Our new AI being an exact copy of Cortana, suggesting something new is here based on what you loved about the original. I couldn't help but think this was 343 saying, we love Halo as much as you, we know we dropped the ball, but to move forward, we have to start fresh and do something different. Maybe that's just me. Halo Infinite's combat is the game's saving grace in my opinion. It's so fluid and polished. Movement is spot on. It's floaty and smooth, though I think the slide could use some improvement. The guns and grenades are all great. They look good, sound good, and most importantly, feel good. Worth noting, you do unlock special variants as you play through, a nice addition and reason to keep playing. The abilities are fun and provide some much needed variability in strategy. The enemies are varied and the AI is typically decent. The reactions to being shot have been improved as well and it helps sell it. In the pacing, oh baby, terrain, buildings, and enemy placement are phenomenal. It all just feels so right. And you heard me correctly, abilities are back in Halo Infinite and we get 5 of them. Grapple Shot is the star of the show. I dare say OP even, especially when leveled up. The cooldown's insane. It stuns enemies and lets you one-shot just about everything. Shield Core just increases hit points. Threat Sensor, this one's especially helpful for a few invisible bosses. You get Drop Wall and Thrusters. Each can be upgraded via Spartan Cores, which you find in the field. Check out the upgrades in advance though and plan because how you spend your points now will dictate how you play later. Halo Infinite contains both linear and open world combat, and both are great in their own way. In linear settings, the pins are perfectly set up and you just knock them down. It's classic Halo like you've come to expect, and in my opinion, it's best yet. Outdoors though, in the open world, combat shines for its improvisation. Scoping out an enemy base and attacking however you want offers up some memorable and sometimes hilarious moments. The open world section makes me want campaign co-op like yesterday though. It's going to be a blast. If there was one disappointment though, it was the banished combat arenas in Act 3. The way it was set up immediately made me think of Doom, my favorite shooter. Master Chief slaughtering hordes of banished? Oh my god, yes, please. But what should have been a bang was just a whimper. Cut the arena size in half, double the number of enemies, and make it 3 times as long, and we'll talk. I felt like this was maybe a missed opportunity to gauge interest in a more intense Halo combat experience. Aside from that one specific thing, I really can't find anything to criticize. While I prefer something more brutal and faster like Doom, I can't expect that from Halo. Instead, I'll say Halo Infinite Combat is a damn near perfect Halo experience. It's evolved and feels modern and engaging. New to the Halo franchise, we've got open world. This is most of the game, both gameplay and story-wise. Much of what you've come to expect from an open world game is here. As you explore Zeta Halo and capture outposts, you reveal new mission types and locations. FOBs, these are just forward operating bases you can capture and then use to resupply and fast travel around from. Armories are just small encounters that have special multiplayer cosmetics. Outposts are more challenging encounters where you need to clear out a base, sometimes kill its leader and capture it. Propaganda towers, whatever, just random unguarded towers you blow up. High value targets have been the most fun and challenging for me though. Each unlocks a unique weapon you can spawn at a FOB. I highly recommend the Needler variant. And Marine squads are just easy level rescue missions. In addition to all that, there are tons of collectibles and secrets lurking about Zeta Halo. While I do think it suffers from a lack of major set pieces, there's a silver lining in that being allowed to dictate the terms of your gameplay can be pretty rewarding. Whether or not that's worth sacrificing set pieces for is up to you. In its current state, I'd say no. The open world is fun, but not fascinating, not captivating, you know what I mean? Not yet at least. Personally, I think Zeta Halo is the foundation for a Destiny-like future of Halo. So long as it isn't poorly received, I suspect they'll just keep expanding on it, eventually even adding other Halo rings. Co-op's going to be a blast in it regardless. So, final thoughts. Halo Infinite is good, honestly. Understanding this is a new start and a new story, I can't fault it too much for the lack of any major narrative progression, but I think it's serviceable and potentially a sign of more impactful things to come. I'll just say this, I personally want a mature, thoughtful story, something that makes you feel and think deeply. I'd really like to see it grow past this Disney-rated generic soldier saves the world stuff. We're all older now, let's just get on with the mature content here, right? The gameplay, though, is stellar. The sandbox is so good at times, it's easy to forget you're even on a mission, or that there is a story. So good, I'm actually continuing the open world portion after finishing the storyline. It's just so fun running around getting into random fights. I'll be curious to see what 343 makes of this. I'm inclined to say they're on the right path. Compared to Halo 4 and 5, it's not even a debate. And with that, I'm done. I appreciate taking the time. Take care of one another, and I will see you soon.
All right, here we go. Whew. Get ready.
Where'd you go? Glory to the banished! Death to you! Guns up, chums! He's gonna move! But he already killed Hyperius!